A very long time, right?
Very long time. If you notice there's any changes, yeah. It's been so long since we came back here.
We've been on break for 2 months, June, July. We decided to take a mid-year break, and we said we'll come back with hypnotherapy. But I had something a little bit more interesting, I think, up my sleeve to start off the year again, right? So we decided. I was just telling Elias and Jeffrey, I've been keeping both their numbers for the last 3 months. Tak berani to call them yet. I was like, how am I going to call them and ask them, like, can you come on my show to talk about love? They'd be like, who is this woman?
What you did, right? That's what you did in the end, right?
Exactly what I did, right? So maybe we can start off by just, getting to know our lovely Jeffrey and Elias. And of course, we have Yi with me. Or she's going to be known as Eliza.
So-called eligible bachelor.
Eligible. Some called.
So-called or some called?
So-called.
So-called, some call, or everybody calls.
Okay, so maybe you guys can tell. I mean, there's two interesting things I found, right, with Jeffrey as well as Elias. Let's start with Elias first. When you check Elias' profile, right, on LinkedIn, not on any dating site, I'm talking about LinkedIn, okay, you see something called mischief. I'm very curious. Maybe you can start off with that, right?
Okay, so hi there. My name is Elias Yushak. So mischief, I was a mischief officer. So that's the thing, when you have your own company, you can call whatever you want, right? So so since I have a whitewater rafting company, and the name is Rafkistan, right? So I thought, you know what? Instead of just starting a rafting company, why don't I just start a country on my own? You see? So it's called Rafkistan, so the land of rafts. So because I needed conversation starters when I meet people or when I give my cards, so I put mischief officer. In my earlier years, I did run another rafting company. I put that chief adventure officer. So that's always a good conversation starter. And when I was running Rafkistan, I was getting into mischievous schemes, to get a lot of people to go to the river. So that's how Mischief Officer came about. Does that answer your question? Right.
So there's no deeper story about that. I feel like there's something there.
No lah. I'm just a little rebel like that lah. So when I can make my mark that way, so I just put it there lah in Rafkistan,
I see.
Mischief.
Because myself and he was talking about it, mischief. We're like, very interesting. And then you see a profile picture, kan? Then you like look at you, then like, very interesting.
The gamba fits the name, right? So
your branding is on point. Your branding is definitely on point.
Yeah, we had a lot of crazy ideas for Rafkistan before MCO. Having penguins, and we do all kind of stuff that normal rafting companies don't do. So we do night river safaris. We go down river at night. We bring people. So I had this one crazy idea to put a friend of mine in a penguin suit and wait on the side. You can only see penguin in Ulu Sulim, So
that reminds me of that movie, Jungle Cruise with The Rock. So how he stages things on the bank of the river, so it becomes more interesting, his cruise.
Yeah. So Rafkistan is just my creative outlet lah, to do crazy stuff, safely on the river.
Okay, that's very interesting. Eliza, you have missed out a very interesting aspect. Elias is like the rock when it comes to jungle.
Originally, right, Rafkistan, we should have our own currency, you see. So when clients come, we give them money, so you can buy your own food, using our company called Rafties. We've got a governor. The governor lives in Thailand. He's an American, lives in Thailand. He gave the name Rafty. So I came up with this grand plan of getting clients to be part of the country and have a passport. You can be a double agent, all this kind of stuff.
Interesting. I would love
That's
to live a
very
double life as
interesting. It's
well.
like,
I would love to live a double life as well. That would be very
Yeah,
interesting.
again.
Don't we all?
So that's how it came from lah. Mischief officer in Rafistan.
Uh,
and then when we go to Jeffrey, right? You see, this side
Yeah.
they have mischief. Then he comes up with this word that he uses, and I noticed. I mean, I've stalked you a little bit on LinkedIn as well. He likes to end his videos, and he talks about being a pathfinder, right? So how did you? I mean, Eliza asked you this as well, right? How did you come to that term pathfinder? Why pathfinder?
Why Pathfinder? Okay. Part of the things that I do is coaching and facilitation, training facilitation, and all that. So one thing I realized was, like Ilyas having your own company thingy. Yeah, you can call yourself anything you want, right? So calling yourself coach is like so. Everybody right now, everybody's a coach right now. So I thought what I always did, and I love the outdoors as well. And whenever I went outdoors, I would always be the one leading the trails and stuff like that. And if people get lost, I'll find a way out or find a way out for people. And I also realized that when I do coaching and facilitation work, that's exactly what I'm doing. I actually help people to find their path, whether it be in a personal or professional development. And so I thought, hey, I want to be the pathfinder, you know, help people find their path. So that's how it came about. Yeah.
So today we're going to kind of direct your paths and your mischief in the area of love, right?
yes,
So,
I'm very
There's
shocked.
been a lot of
when,
mischief
when
there.
Cheryl told me that, hey, you know, I found two people who's going to talk about love language, and then I look at it, they are guys. And I was like, yeah, isn't that interesting? I was like, yes, that's very interesting. Actually, I find it very, very interesting. No offense on the gender part of it. I feel that everyone should know about this, but I've never ever really thought that, you know, two guys will be telling us about love language. That's very interesting. I find it really, really fascinating. You know,
we'll see how this goes, and then we'll see whether we need to bring another two women together or bring two of them back with two women. I mean, but we are two women anyway, so.
Yeah,
Jeff,
exactly.
you better start a path right now, Jeff, for us.
Yeah, I've already created a
Shuffling
Find us
the
a
path
path
for
right
us to
now.
go with it.
Do you all
I've
have an
already
exit
created
route?
a path.
Do you have an
Yeah.
escape route for today? Do you have
Ah.
one?
Remember, Jeff?
Yes.
A
Oh,
path, not a
I think I'm a
lubang,
bit
okay?
laggy right now. I'm frozen.
Yep, that's fine.
That's a good excuse during the pandemic, right?
Yes, yeah. See, that's the thing, right? Right now, if you have your partner and they're working from home, you can't do that anymore. I'm stuck. You can't do that anymore. So there's no way you can run away.
So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
saying there's no more peace at home, right? You can't run away. I mean,
Mm,
the reality is that we are spending almost every waking hour with another person, whether it's your
Yes.
partner, your spouse, it could be a housemate, it could be your sister,
Anybody.
your sibling. I know Yi shares a room with a sister. I share my home with my husband and my two kids. So your space is very limited as it is. And then
yes.
if you go out, you get killed. If you stay home, sometimes you feel you can get killed as well. So how do you communicate now
Very
safely, right?
carefully.
Sign language.
No, but
If all else fails, we just.
but this
But
this
yes,
idea of love language.
this is definitely something that we actually came about as well. That's why when I was sharing with Jeffrey about how we started off with Me series, right, where I was telling her that during the first MCO I was having a lot of this anxiety. I'm feeling very stressed because for the first time for a very long time I am stuck with my family members or whoever with for too long, basically for too long, and then you start to feel very I don't know, frustrated with many little things, of what they do, because you're not used to share space, So, and the way we start communicating, it ended up with no communication whatsoever, because let's just talk less, because so we have less, argument happening in the house, that kind of thing. So, how do you all actually get about with this? Do you are
Oh,
feeling the same way
Is
lagging.
she
as
running
well?
away
Is
or
she
she's
is she
frozen?
really lagging or?
yeah.
Uh,
What was the last thing you said? What was the last thing you said? We missed that one out.
how do you handle with the current situation of sharing your space with your loved ones at such a situation, especially for a very long time?
Okay,
Okay.
I can take this first, Jeff.
All right. Please.
First foremost, you cannot not
Yes.
communicate. You can talk less, but
Yeah, that's dangerous.
you're always communicating though.
Yeah.
And when you don't talk, you are still communicating. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to be mindful of that. That's one. Number
Yes.
two, I'm quite used to sharing space with my partner for a long time because she has left her work. I think in our second year of marriage. So now we're 6 years already. So we've been around each other for 4 years.
You're giving us indication of your age, is it, Elias?
So you can't really imagine
Doing some
when I get
calculation
when I
already.
okay, I'll give you three shots. How old do you think I am? Or how young do you think I am?
Hmm.
Too early. Too early. During the middle of the session, we'll start
All
guessing
right,
already.
all right, all right. Okay, cool. So I think one is to
Sorry, I don't understand.
sorry, my Google is
You see, even Google is confused.
it's
They
scary,
don't
right?
understand.
They are all listening to us, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I got to put it. That's weird though. Okay. Space. So I think when it comes to communication, there is such thing as spatial space.
Okay.
Um, there'll be times that it's too close. There'll be time it's too it's too far. You all have your own spaces when it comes to personal space and you know space you share. So even in your house, you would have spaces where you share and spaces where you are on your own,
Common.
common spaces, right? Um, I think there's a lot of literature around that. You've got the Johari window lah, apa lah, all about all these spatial things. So um, using space pun kita communicate tau. So when suddenly just like this distance, so you just know, okay, you know what, we just do something else lah, kind of thing. So even your house is built that way. Your house is built for you to share moment or be with yourself.
Yeah.
Like in your ruang tamu, that's where you share with everybody else. In the kitchen, you only share it
Yes.
with someone really close and someone that can work with you, especially someone that can work with you. So you don't want someone who can't do kitchen work and be in the kitchen when you're trying to cook, right? Kan?
You can't focus. Like, get out of there. That's what mothers do usually, right? They tell their kids,
Exactly.
just leave the kitchen.
So whose space is that? Whose space is the kitchen then? The mother's space, right?
In my
Yes.
house, it's not only lah, but yeah,
Yeah,
usually
unconsciously,
dominated by the mother.
So unconsciously it's the mother's space. However, if you have kids who doesn't understand the concept of space,
Boundaries, yeah.
right? Boundaries, kan? So they will come in. So this is when mothers needs to be aware that hey, this is no longer my space. I live with my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law has her own space kat depan rumah,
Yes.
where she does her pokok and stuff. So we know that's her space where we don't kacau her there. We do all our things, beside her space, in front of space. So space is very important when you are
Yeah.
spending a lot of time
Yes.
with your partner. Kan, Jeff?
Yep, I agree. And like I said, I think a lot of people are actually struggling through this right now is
Yes.
because once upon a time, I had this place called the office to run to,
Yes.
right? Yeah. I got no
Yes.
time to talk with you right now. I
Have
gotta
to
go to
rush
work.
for meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we always had that time to run away. And if you had something that you didn't want to face, you probably would say, "Hey, honey, I've got OT today. I'll be back
Mhm.
late." So
Yes.
we try to stretch our time as much as we can. But
Yes.
now with with working from home, a lot of us have no more space to run.
Correct.
Yeah. Even like for me at one point, my one safe space was my balcony. I had that one space to go to. Really? Yeah,
I've
because
seen
that
your
was my
balcony.
space.
Yes, you
Yeah.
had, right? Did
And
you
that
see
was
that one
this,
episode? No, you didn't, right?
which one? That one episode, right?
That one episode. Forever
You
Now
need
you're
to
etched
gonna
tell me
in
make
my
which episode
memory.
is that.
I will tell you somewhere in the middle of this conversation. I'll try
now.
and do a Freudian slip somehow,
You know what, Elias? Now Eliza is gonna go around and search all the 300 over
The
videos.
videos
Yeah.
to find
I'm
one.
also looking
Okay.
into the videos and saying which one with the balcony.
Okay, where is the balcony? That's the balcony. But guys, what
Yeah.
we're talking about communication, we're talking about space, we're talking about boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I have to quote this, and I think because you guys are maybe around the same age, a bit little older in the same generation, some of our audience are much younger. They might not get this, but what does
Yeah.
love got? What has love got to do with it? If you all know the famous
Oh,
song, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
love got
Yeah.
everything to do with it, right?
yeah.
So I mean,
This is
how does it
yeah.
come together, Jeffrey? How does love play into this whole idea when we talk about communication, being in
Communication.
these confined spaces? How does
Spaces.
that all come together?
I think right at this moment, love is going to be stretched in such a way that so
So
many
many
of us
different
have never
sides.
never actually stretched before.
They will
Because
start to recite whatever they have agreed on when they sign the marriage cert. Is that what you're saying?
no, suddenly you realize this person that you love is a different kind of a monster right now. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
never knew this person was like that.
it could just evolve just because of a a slip of your tongue saying something, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden, and whoa, things might just blow out of proportion. Yeah. And like I said, because we don't have a space to get away to, uh now we got to sit and face it. We got to really face the music, and we got to deal with it. There's no way of running away.
Right.
So so if love is involved here right now, what I would say is you actually really need to exercise this thing called love, because then all the awareness needs to come in before I
Yeah.
even open my mouth to say something, do something. Everything needs to come into that space, and yeah, because it's easy to just blow up right now, just like what you
Yes.
were sharing just now, Eliza. You know what?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to be with you, but too much of you is, and you can't
It's
say that,
really,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
honey, I just had too much of. Could you like just stay a bit further away? You can't do that, right? So I think a lot of awareness needs to be there. We need to be aware. I need to be aware of what I'm saying, what I'm doing. Like what Ilya said, we cannot not communicate,
Correct.
Yeah.
right? Even in
Correct.
silence, we are communicating.
True.
Why
True.
don't you say something? Say lah, say. And then
But
you're
what?
like,
No. When you are pausing, it's like, what are you thinking? Huh? Nothing. Huh? What do you mean nothing?
nothing.
What do you mean you never
Yeah,
think? You must be thinking something. Why you never tell it? Ah.
You shake your
exactly.
head. That means you're irritated, is it?
Yeah,
Or
Stop frowning. Why are you frowning?
exactly. And me being quite expressive, so my eyes naturally will roll.
Ah.
And you know
in
what?
here.
I saw your eye roll. What do you
Yeah.
use that for? And I have no answer for it. I'm like, no, did it roll? I don't know. So you gotta really be conscious. So it's
Okay.
really about awareness and being conscious of
Yes.
yourself. And
Okay.
So
and this is the point in time, right, where we are practicing mindfulness to the max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
pushed. So
Yeah.
Yizan says, so love must have a balance of intimate space and personal space?
Oh yes,
Question mark.
I'd say
I agree.
communication needs space,
Yeah.
not love per se. I think being I think when you know your spaces, it's easier to live with, especially when you are around all the time. Okay,
Yes.
itu saja. So it's not so much about love and space. It's about trying to not kill each other when you're in the same space for too long.
Yeah.
Kan?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to share on that one
Yeah.
in the sense
Yes.
that yeah, I might love someone, but at the same time, I also need my personal space.
My space.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
That's
space, a
my
space where you know what I can
me
disappear
space.
to. Yeah, me space for say half an hour. So I steal space by waking up earlier, just so that I can have that space for myself. And sometimes that helps because
Mm.
if I don't take care of me, I'm going to be so bad with everybody else.
Yeah,
Yes.
can I add on
So
that? Can I add on that?
Yeah.
yes.
Jeff, you brought up something very important.
Hmm.
So space can be time for some of us.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a dimension of space per se. It can just be a dimension
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
My God, are we
Yeah.
doing? Are we talking about quantum physics right now? This gets
Not
me
yet, not
worried.
yet, not
Uh,
yet.
we'll let you know when we get
We are
there.
just adding on to whatever we're talking.
It's like talking about space and time, and suddenly you have some sort of dimension going on.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But it's interesting, right? What Jeffrey said, right?
Yes.
When you're
Yes.
talking about we're talking about love here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
love is not just love for others; it's also love for yourself. So
Yeah.
taking that 5 minutes extra, or waking up a little earlier to give yourself that space, or like what I like to do when before the pandemic, when I come back from work, I I will stay longer upstairs when I get ready. My husband is listening means I will take longer. And even though anyone who knows me, I'm a very loud person. You can see from my expression. Someone on LinkedIn told me, you got too much of things going on here. I'm like, can't help it.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
me,
me, right? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes you need that little space, even when you're a loud person like me, I need my space as well. What more when you're talking about the pandemic? And I think loving yourself is crucial. What Jeffrey said is important. How can you love someone else when you don't love yourself? And it also comes back to giving yourself that time. So when you are calm, when you speak to someone, you speak to someone more calmly as well. But if you're
Yes.
agitated, we
Yeah.
have a problem, don't we?
Correct.
It's going
Correct.
to come out somewhere, and you're at home, right? So it's going to come out with your loved
Yeah.
ones.
Okay, I
Exactly.
have a question then, because we were talking
Yes.
about the importance of the choosing the right words to say in order to ensure that we don't get into a heated argument, right? Do you have any tips on what are considered safe words to use, choices of words to use to
now, now,
consider?
now that sounds like a different kind of love already. Safe words.
Consent. I think
Okay,
she's tied up with a.
yeah, not that. This
Okay.
is general conversation. General conversation.
Safe words.
I've
What
got
do you
I've
think,
got
Elias?
I've got three rules for picking words lah.
Yes.
First, is it true? It's not my
Okay.
rules. I got it somewhere. I can't remember what. But pretty
Okay.
much three. Is it true?
Okay.
Is it necessary?
Okay.
And is it kind?
I think it's from the Quran and the Bible as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. But pretty much, usually what happens for me is only like,
Yes.
is it true? Yes.
Yes.
Is it necessary? Yes. Is it kind? No.
Yes. No.
So I always end up don't saying. Because
I get what you're
That's a
saying.
good. That's a very good point. I don't think there's any specific safe word because the word might be safe.
Yeah.
How you say it might not be safe.
Exactly. Exactly. But
Correct.
I think the intent of the word, when you are saying you want to say something,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you want to be clear about the message that you want to send across. Because
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
heated moment or a heated situation,
Oh,
no matter how
yes.
nice you say it, it still sounds bad. It's just like, yeah, I love you. What? I do. Who said I don't love you? Go try that and see you get killed or not. Die.
Yeah.
Yeah. No way.
So okay, let's do something, right? I just want to like kind of para your otak a bit to see how you all work in certain things just by
Okay.
doing something very simple activity, right? Okay,
All right.
I'm going to ask you guys to give me 5 words that associates with the word love for you. Just 5 words, single words. And I say
5
love,
single words.
yeah, separately, right? What are those words that associate for you that means love for you? It could be anything, right? Like me, I would say nasi lemak from my latest post. You can see why.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is love? When you think of love, it doesn't mean that I love nasi lemak, but maybe nasi lemak gives me that warmth or whatever it is, like, you know. But
Yeah.
what is 5 words? Jeffrey, you
5
want to
words.
start?
Okay. Care. Passion.
same.
He's stealing the words.
Breakfast. Yeah.
Breakfast?
Breakfast. Yeah, breakfast. Space and understanding.
Okay.
Deep words, huh?
You got 3 more to go, bro.
Yes.
Hello, he's a
Yeah.
pathfinder, okay? What do you expect?
That's
true,
why
that's
you
true,
always
that's
ask.
true.
You must always ask him first. I'm the mischief one. I will tiru and innovate. So I will tiru mati.
Yeah.
Love. So kindness, food,
Yeah.
hugs. What else? Love. Words itself, encouraging words lah. And I've got 4 right already. My math is not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more.
Got 4 right.
Yeah.
One
One
more.
more. One more.
Rivers. I have a
That's a very
innate love for
Rivers as in
rivers.
sungai, not
Sungai.
As in
rivers
reverse
Gostan.
policy or what?
Sungai,
Gostan,
sungai.
bukan Gostan tau.
Rivers.
Sungai.
Rivers.
I thought it was that, you know.
Rivers.
I thought
No, not Gostan. You know where the word Gostan came from?
what's that? Interesting.
Came from go astern. Go to the stern. Gostan.
You know, when you said that, I thought you meant reverse, like reverse policy. I can say something bad and I can take it back
Oh,
because
no,
I
no,
love you.
Sungai.
Okay.
And what about you, Yi?
Shit, am I supposed to do it as well? Hey, I didn't know that I'm supposed to do it
Was
as
that
well.
the first word? Was that the first word?
Sorry, by my language. Okay, 5 words. Music. I love art. Yeah. Pictures. Comfort as well.
Comfort.
Last one. What is it that I need right now? I need sleep.
Sleep is also love, right? Like when
Yeah.
the person lets you sleep a little bit longer, like half an hour longer.
Yeah.
When you decide to sleep a little bit longer, you're loving yourself.
Oh, please tell that. Okay, I have to
Your
take
mother,
note.
is it?
Okay,
I don't think your mother is watching, right?
No, not my mother. I'm seeing if there's anyone I'm working with here that I need to tell. Please tell that to my boss. Please tell that to the management side, okay? It's like when I really need sleep, and that's where they start bombarding with text messages like, oh God, please just give me another 5 more minutes. I just need to sleep or close my eyes for 5 more minutes.
Didn't you know that your phone can actually sleep?
Yes, I know. I do that, but you know, but
She can't help herself, Jeffrey. If a notification comes, she has to answer it.
Right. I'll try tomorrow morning at 5. Can I have a number?
Now that you tell me, do you think I'm gonna share? I think you have my number anyway, so
But guys, you see, we are talking about all these elements, right? And then
Mhm.
what I recently, I mean, a couple of months ago, I was watching this movie, right? And this two celebrity couples from Nigeria, they actually went on this talk show and started talking about love language. And the first time I heard it, I thought it was very, very interesting because my husband and I, we are very communicative. I feel both of us are from the communication major, but sometimes when we communicate very differently. You know,
Mhm.
the words we use also because we're from different cultures, right? So you know,
Right.
in Malaysia, like I don't know whether it's a Malaysian thing or whether it's a me thing, but growing up, like to say everything sikit-sikit, you like to say bodoh lah ni, bodoh lah.
Yeah.
Like for my husband, that one bantang use the
Oh,
word stupid, use the word like you don't use words lightly.
oh,
Right.
so
You
Right.
You
you
should
get what
just
I
hear, I
mean?
just sweat just now before I start my sentence. So you should know how likely
no,
that
but
those.
sometimes swearing, right? I don't know. For me, swearing is a
Yeah.
sign of that we are very close. That I can swear to you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Then, like
Yes.
I call Jeff a lot of things.
Yeah.
Sampai tak boleh sebut, right?
Yeah.
You can't say it here.
Yeah. Because it's like I think it's how close you are as well, and how
Yeah.
what you say that this is also about your space, how you can communicate, right?
But it
And
goes back
sometimes,
to expression, kan, Jeff? Expression,
yeah,
like how you express yourself, how we've
yeah,
grown up expressing ourselves, and how another person is express themselves might be a completely different context.
Exactly.
So they
Exactly.
don't
agreed,
see things
agreed,
the way we do, not
Very
because they
very.
are wrong and we are right.
agreed,
And that's
agreed.
why I thought it was so interesting, this idea of love languages, right? And I want us to kind of go deeper into it because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, hey, what is this love language you're talking about?
Yeah, got
What
language one.
yeah, got
Okay.
language. Like I didn't know when I got a
I
boyfriend
think
or
the
I got
only
married or
understanding of
nobody
love
gave me a
language for
manual.
people, I think the only
Yeah,
understanding of love language for people is basically I love you. It's like, oh, that is love language, lah, you know. But I don't
is
think it's just that, right?
yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah.
so love is about, it's everything. It encompasses everything and all that stuff, can. But
Mm.
true, it's just like what Cheryl was saying. Yeah, expression. Like for me, I'm very expressive myself, and to me, swearing sometimes it's not because of malice, but because I just want to let it out. That's
Yeah.
how I release my tension, and I just go. Yeah, yeah. And to me, it's normal. So if anybody were to say that to me, it's I'm cool, because, oh, okay, I get it. You need to just let go, right? But not
Yeah.
everybody can accept that.
Can
Yeah.
Yeah,
accept that.
some people, hey, no, you shouldn't. That's not blah blah blah. So we naturally also receive things, see things, perceive things very very differently. We all
True.
have our different world views,
Mhm.
right? So where love language is concerned, yes, definitely gonna be a lot of difference. Just like, for example, if you ask me to come in, uh, help you out in the kitchen, and I help you out, and instead of appreciating that I'm coming in to help you out, you start banging me for doing things wrong, or you're washing this not clean, da 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 da. I get upset, because what I want,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I my love language is to serve you, right? But
Yeah.
then what I'm receiving is no appreciation at all, so it kind of doesn't gel. So that's
Yeah.
where things crack. That's where
Yeah.
things
Agree.
crack, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think um taking where Jeff has landed us. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking here today about for me, I discovered love language when I saw the 5 love languages from
Yeah.
Gary Chapman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how this works is just like like communication, how that all of us have communication styles, right?
Yes.
We have
Yes.
communication styles, and then
Yes.
we also have learning channels, how we receive information, right? We have all our
Correct.
preferences. So it's just a preferences and
Yeah.
styles pretty much when it comes
Yes.
to love language,
As well. Yeah. As well as our cultural background, upbringing, and stuff like that.
Correct. So how does this love language works? it's based on the same premise of like confidence. It has an account. It has an account. Like trust, it has an account. If you keep if you keep taking it, one day it'll be finished, and one day you're gonna, overdraft it. So sometimes with people we can't communicate anymore. That's when
Yes.
you should realize you have overdraft your trust or your whatever with them.
Okay.
So same like confidence. You got a confidence account. So every time you keep your own promises, it's one deposit, right? It's one deposit, right? It's one deposit
Oh,
until you
okay.
use it up, right? So sama juga. It's the same thing with love language. So you imagine right now, right? Like a car, you've got um, a tank, a love tank.
Yes.
So you have a love tank. Everybody has a love tank. If you've got a partner,
Yes.
your partner has a love tank. And
Yes.
what we feel in our love tank is different
Yes.
what they feel in their love tank. So imagine
Okay.
this lah. You pakai minyak kuning, dia pakai minyak hijau.
Okay.
Jeff pakai diesel. And then when you nak pergi, when you want to serve them kan, because Jeff diesel, so Jeff will go to you with the diesel and cakap, I'm a green petrol, man. So it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
kena. So that's how a kind of love language works lah. So it's about understanding your love language and about understanding other people's love language. That's it. And Gary Chapman has lined up like 5 to make
Okay.
it easier for everybody. Itu je.
Elias, before we go into the 5, right? There's a very interesting comment that came for you. He says, "Ha ha ha! I like the dude
You have a
eating on the
fan.
show. Legendary."
You have a fan.
Mischievous, right? See, I told you, this is a natural thing. My wife just came and to me and just give it to me like she knows exactly my love language. She just put the food here. Later, she just put the
Guys,
drink, and
nobody put
I do
food
this.
on my table.
So because she knows exactly what my love language is.
Uh,
You see, but my love language and her love language is not the same. So
Different.
it's different. So macam like this is called an act of service lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife gives me. So if you're wondering what I'm eating, is fruits. Yeah. So my wife gives me fruits, right? And because my love language is act of service, so usually I will also just automatically do acts of service. I'll wash the dishes and do all this wonderful stuff in the kitchen, right? And I would think
so
that
it
it meant something.
really depends. So it really depends on you need to understand your
Yeah.
partner's
Yes.
their preference
Their
of love
love language.
language.
Yes, their love language, not yours. So
in
when
order
I
to accommodate.
so imagine I dah macam seronok lah cuci pinggan semua, right? And thinking, right, I've done something for my wife, right? And my wife would just like do like nothing happened.
Yeah.
She's like, I wash dishes every day. What's the
What's the big
deal?
deal?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. What's the big deal? Yeah, I'm right. So because it's actually
Yeah.
our love language is different, and usually when we are not aware, we go into our own automatic, and we give our love language to other people, and people don't get
Yeah.
it.
Thinking that they will understand.
So
it
it's like
somehow.
speaking different languages, right? You're speaking in a language they cannot understand, and you expect them to understand because you understand it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
Yes.
It,
So
it
it's
is
like, for
actually
example,
about. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
continue. No, because I'm trying to just understand. So it's basically what
Okay.
you're saying is that, for example, if the person that you are your partner that you are with, right? If that person is a kind of person who prefers to listen to a lot of words, they are a person who prefers words. But even if you do acts of service to them, they won't appreciate it. Instead, if you constantly tell them, like, I love you, you are very important to me, they actually feel it better. They actually accept it better. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they will not acknowledge you at all for your act of service. Kan, tak
And
ada
to
lah
them, they
macam
say that
tu.
it's just
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not in their
Radar.
it's not in their radar that you are doing something for them. No.
Oh, you thought that you're doing it for yourself.
Let me just ask you this. Let me just ask you this.
Yes.
If I were to send you flowers, how would you respond? How would you respond? You like it? Don't like it? Doesn't matter?
Now I feel that it's a waste of money.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if I don't understand your language, then if I were to buy you flowers and I'm gonna buy you tons of flowers, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna take flowers, for example, flowers, okay.
Thank you, but
Thank
whatever.
you.
Yeah.
It's not
But to
whatever
me,
lah, but
no,
Oh, thank
to
you.
that
Such a
extent.
nice gesture, but yeah,
As
that's it.
but it's not like you don't appreciate, you appreciate, but like you say lah, it's a waste of money. Would it not be better if I were to buy you something else, give you a phone or something like that, right? That you appreciate it more. So understanding this actually helps the relationship to grow. Because if we don't understand it, because why? Some idiot friend of yours says, go buy her flowers lah. Sure one. All girl will die one. You give flowers, sure they die
Actually, I don't know why this suddenly just feel getting personal to me personally. It's true because last time when zaman kuno lah, this is really dinosaur age lah. Okay, dinosaur age last time, right? When I started dating. When I started dating that time, right, all my friends knows that I'm a kind of person, right? Just because I'm a girl, right, doesn't mean that I like soft toys. But my boyfriend at that time was being so nice. He thinks that he listens to his friend and say, your girlfriend first birthday, okay lah, buy her soft toy lah. And out of all the soft toys he bought me, right, he bought me a huge human life-size soft toy, which cost like don't know how many hundreds bucks for me as my birthday present. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know how to feel. I'm like, thank you very much for spending that money, but now my next question is, where am I supposed to put this thing?
But deep down inside you're saying, oh my god, it's such a waste of money. You could have I would have been happy if you had brought me for a nice dinner, for a nice meal, right?
Buy me something.
Food is the way to her heart. Obviously, that's her love language. Give me food anytime.
So right, perhaps to appease you, would just to be chivalrous, if there's still any chivalry around, I would just buy you. Yeah, I would just buy you a stock of a stock of a rose, and then bring you for a nice dinner. That would be better, isn't it? See?
Yes.
So
that flower thing, you can skip that as well. You can even on the side of the road. It's fine for me.
Yeah, the flower actually is not for you. It's for me. It's for me to appease me that okay, I'm being a gentleman, getting you a flower. I dah settle I punya syarat lah, But the dinner is.
You sound like Dr. Love right now.
But that's a good point as well, right? Like within us, we have certain things which we feel is how people appreciate love. But at the same time, you understand that's how she appreciates love, and you're looking at both sides. So, like you said, you appease yourself, you feel happy, like I've done something, I haven't got overboard. I feel happy that I've given her, like Valentine's Day, right? A lot of people give flowers, chocolate. So maybe you don't do that because your partner don't like. But like you said, I just give one lah, because it's like, how can I don't give? It's Valentine example, right? So it makes a lot of sense.
And actually, what actually does happen is after the meal, you go back and the whole restaurant is filled with people. They're getting their flowers, and you are walking out without a flower, and then you're saying, "How come you never buy me flower, huh?" Even one stock would do, huh?
No lah, for the guy also, it doesn't look nice to the guy lah.
Doesn't look bad, right?
Yeah. So that's why I say, it does appease him as well as you. So understanding that helps the relationship a lot.
We have a question, right? So Yizhen says,
few actually.
Since you mentioned about appreciation, would you listen to advice from your loved one after you express your problems that you encounter from work? or do you prefer them to listen and accompany?
Okay, I
Okay,
think this
I
question
can share
basically
that.
means, yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can actually share that. You know what? Sometimes, well, my ex-wife, she works in the corporate and is very highly stressed and all that. And when
Yes.
she comes back, she wants to just voice out, just
Yeah.
let things out.
Yeah.
This client, blah blah blah, my boss, da 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 da. Da.
Yeah.
And then innocently, me being there, okay, let me help you out. Sometimes it's by default, right? I want to serve, ma. I'll just go and say, yeah, you know what? You should have done it, da, da, da. And then she stops.
Yes.
You know what? Why can't you just shut up and listen? You know everything about my boss, man. You know everything about this, man. You know everything about that, man.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
see?
I get
Yeah.
what you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, yeah, you want to be heard, but you don't
Yes.
need the answers because you know the answers.
Okay.
You know your bosses, you know your company so much better, but you just want to release it, want to just let it out to someone who's just willing to hear and don't have to answer one. Okay, all right, okay. Until she asks you or he asks you, actually, what do you think? What do you suggest? Then you open your mouth. Otherwise,
Oh, but
that would be
that's
fine. Yeah.
oh, that's where it gets worse as well, Jeffrey. Because
Yes, yes.
I've had that kind of situation many times. It's like
I
they
know,
want to
I know.
express themselves, and then they say, "So what you think? What you think?" So I will voice, but sometimes when I voice my opinion, it's definitely not something that he or she wants to hear. And then they'll be,
Exactly.
then I'm like, then when you ask me, I already told you what I think, but you cannot accept what I think. Then now you feel so frustrated. Now you make me feel frustrated,
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
notice that, right? That from an
Yes.
innocent hear me out and you helping out becomes
Yes.
something really, really very tension within the
Yes.
relationship, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what I learned from that was to actually listen
Yes.
intently, okay, whatever it is. And then after that, would you like any if she's open, would you be open to suggestions? If
Mm-hmm.
she says no, he says no, it's okay. Your
Yeah.
job is done. Because the moment you just come out with your 2 cents worth and think you are smarter, then you say, well, you think you're very smart, ah?" That's a big problem, right?
So it
That's
becomes
where all the
a issue,
yeah
becomes a bigger issue, and it becomes
Yeah.
a problem between y'all two instead
yeah
of
Yeah.
exactly.
the initial
Yeah,
issue. So
yeah.
it's not a one size fits all, right? Because it's not,
No,
because sometimes if you read certain books, they'll tell you, oh, communicate, say this, but it goes back to the person that you're specifically talking to, goes back to
Mm.
what is that person's love language. So, guys, when y'all are
yeah.
listening, right, don't just take it like, oh, Jeffrey said that, I'll go back and do that with my partner. It might backfire completely,
Exactly.
right?
Please let them
Exactly.
do that 5 love language. Test them which one they prefer first before you
Which
do
one? Yeah, go
anything.
back and test
Yeah.
them first. But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
being said, I want to bring up some comments from the audiences, right? So,
Right.
Elias, I think you're
Yes,
like
you're very
a favorite quote here. Someone has said, please, if you're watching this in 2050, just know he's eating on the show because his wife just spoke their love language. And then your wife came by as well. Your wife said, hi, I'm Elias' wife. He's always hungry.
And then
See,
you have
you know,
someone to cook for him. Oh my
So
god.
sweet, my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
And
so
Elias,
sweet, yeah.
Mala's love language, what it is. She says, send me a handwritten card, she will cook for you. So obviously we all know now, everyone on the show, that his love language is food. So you want something from Elias, send him food, grab him food or bubble. I don't know what food yet, but we know so far it's fruits. We must ask. We must ask Lisa. She will probably give us more tips on that. So
Yeah. Maybe you can send a list of what can be sent and what can't be sent.
So
Well,
I've got something to share now that you mentioned food and youth and
Yes.
mala and everything, right? So
Yes.
recently, Yus had her birthday, right, a few months back, just a month or two back. And because it's MCO, right, I can't do a party, kan?
Yeah.
Right. So what I did was I invited lots of friends just to grab in whatever they want to give her lah, food lah, right? So and then right now when you just mentioned all this, now I just realized, I did it because my love language is act of service.
No wonder she came in here and go give comments. She's trying to give revenge already just to
You know
emphasize.
what? She got 21 deliveries on that day, and it was just all my love language.
But
So
it's
instead-
something
yeah.
not conscious, right? We don't consciously do it, right? Like now you're thinking
Correct.
about it. So it's something we have to be really mindful about. Like, just because I like it, like I used to, throughout university, right? I would send to all my friends handwritten cards. I used to make and send to Alusta, they're in Epic, they're in Monash from different states, because I thought they would appreciate that because that's what I would appreciate. Compared to someone buying me something, like I'll be like, that didn't take any effort. But if someone, created a card for me, or my husband likes to, when we were dating, he used to make me Maggie mee goreng and a cup of milk. And I used to think that was the most amazing thing in the world. I still do, because
Yeah.
he made it himself. He
Hint,
went to the
hint,
kitchen.
hint to the husband here. Husband here, do you listening to what your wife is saying?
But
You just might get it
The mee
tomorrow.
goreng. The mee goreng and the milk,
no, but that's the thing about us, right? Like what we think until I heard about love language, I would never have thought about it that way. I would just think I like it, so you must like it too, right? Like because
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
someone brought up this question, guys, that I wanna talk about before I leave it and forget about it. It says if something needs to be discussed and addressed, but it might hurt the other half. It's true, but might not be the most safest word. Then what do you do?
Handle it.
I'll
Sorry,
put it
again,
up
sorry?
on the screen.
Yeah.
Handle
What
it
if
with care.
something needs to be discussed and addressed, but it might hurt the other half? Is it true? It's true, but it might not be the
Necessary?
safest.
Is it true, necessary, and can you do it kindly?
So just try to take the kindest route possible, but say it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what selalu yang masalah kan is when people come from a position of right and wrong. This is what makes it more difficult to communicate. So I learned from a friend, Isaac Peters. Actually, he said this. He said, rather than right or wrong, maybe it's a lot more useful to come from useful or not useful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Because
very interesting.
no one likes to feel wrong, right? I don't like to feel wrong.
Yeah.
True.
See, as much as I love feedback, as much as I say that I love feedback and feedback is good and whatever, right? The moment you get one, right, it's, alamak, like kena,
I
like
think
tembak, like angry, like everything, right?
This
Yeah.
is very relatable, especially in the current social media platform, where everything that people posting there, they thought that they are expressing, number one, their opinion, and they keep thinking that their opinion is the right opinion. And the right opinion suddenly turns into a fact. It's like this is just a person's opinion, but they feel that it's actually a fact. That it's true, that kind of thing. And that's where argument comes about. That's where people start to have, cyberbullying, and stuff like that happening in social media because everyone thinks they're right and nobody wants to think they're wrong. So if somebody comes in there and says
Exactly.
correct.
But back again to Isan's question about that, right? One way to deal with that, especially when you have something that is true and you might hurt the other person, I would say get an appointment with that person. Whether it's your spouse, your loved one, get an appointment because you know what? Sometimes we just while we are having dinner, we want to talk about it. No, wrong time to talk about it because then you're gonna spoil the dinner, lunch, whatever it is. How about because if it's important enough, you want to set an appointment so both of you can actually sit down and have a discussion around it.
You set a stage, lah, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes a lot of sense because why? That is about me respecting your time, your space, and vice versa. So we sit down and you know what? We need to discuss this because this is really important. this might hurt, but I feel that I need to share this with you. So you gotta set the stage and actually approach it like I think one of the most important words would be with kindness lah. Always have compassion.
Yeah.
Because whatever you say, if it's gonna hurt someone, have compassion. Think about it as well. If it were me, what would I do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
compassion plays a huge part in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Say it
setting the
like how
time is
you want to take
important.
it out.
Yeah.
Say it like how you want to get it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
But many times, that's the thing. Many times, usually people don't see from the other person's perception. So that's why it's very
Yeah.
important to actually think that if this is being spoken to me, how would I feel about it?
Yeah. Because definitely, like I said, we have different worldviews,
Mhm.
and we have a whole different vision of the world. What is right for you may not be right for me.
Yeah.
Right? What I can accept, you might not be able to accept. Just like you say the word bodoh or what. Hey, we call each other sometimes friends. Hey, bodoh angkau ni. But
Yeah.
you know, to us, we are cool about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But to some
But not
people, oh, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
So you want understanding that is important.
I think the balance is important, and it's not something you can check out of. Like you can, I mean, sometimes we like to say like, yeah, if there's not something you're comfortable with, then you don't hang out with me lah. But it doesn't
Yeah,
work that way, right? When you're talking about
exactly.
someone close to you within your circle, then you have to
Yeah,
take note about how they feel as well and how that works out, and then you must cuba to understand. You cannot just
yeah,
come from your point of view. A lot of it is looking at external rather than just internal, because a lot of times we are told to look internally, right, rather than externally. And I think the mindfulness is super important, like what Ilya says, right, for us to be mindful, because we automatically shift into, this is what I would love, so this is what someone else would love too. I'm going to
yeah.
give you all 5 statements, right? So I want you
Mhm.
guys to tell me very quickly, right? Is this the way you express love? Just yes or no. Like, is this the way you think is a way to express? It's your expression of love. Is that
Okay,
cool? Okay.
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 Okay, Jeffrey and Elias. A fastest way to a man's heart is his stomach. A woman's heart is your stomach.
Yes.
No.
I think Elias, we know already by now. Okay.
Yeah.
He or she messages me with sweet romantic messages or kind words.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We spend time watching or going out together on our preferred activity. Doing
Definitely
something
yes.
we.
That would help.
Elias, what about you?
Is a yes or no, right? Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. He or she always gives me gifts, knows what I like.
No, no. For me, no.
Not necessary. No.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So when we talk about these 5 love languages, right? Let's just help break it. We've kind of talked about it here and there, right? Let's try
Right.
to break it down for the audience and maybe go one by one. What are those love languages, right? So we
Yeah.
have the first. We talked a lot about gifts, right? Earlier about flowers and all this, right? So what is receiving gifts? Is it any kind of gift?
It can be any kind. It can be rare. It can be frequent. It can be expensive. It can be inexpensive. It can be something that you do. Doesn't matter lah. As long as it's a gift. What matters, what you need to understand is a physical, visual symbol of love. It's a symbol of love. You're giving symbols. You see, for the person who loves receiving gifts, it truly, from what I understand, it really doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's because it will be seen as a symbol of love.
So
Actually, it's
receiving
about
something lah.
symbols lah.
Yeah.
Symbols. Yeah.
So if the person
But that was
believes
the
that
question
that's the expression.
That was
Was
that was the
that, sorry?
question that was the question that Cheryl asked the statement just now about receiving gifts, and I believe both of you said no, right? So
No,
you
for
guys
us.
are not participating. So you
No,
guys
we
are
are-
not participating on receiving gifts.
No.
Yeah. No. It's
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's okay. I like it. I appreciate it. I like
You don't
it. I
mind it,
appreciate
yeah.
I don't mind it. But that is not my
I don't seek
preferred.
it lah.
I don't seek it like it's not my preferred
You know that
language
nice
lah.
friends to have, nice friends to have. Fancy for
So basically, if you could put it like, I'm a cheap date.
Actually,
better.
I think
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm totally the same. For me, it's both food.
You know what? What I appreciate in terms of gifts, right? What I appreciate is something like this, a drawing like this,
Yeah.
right? This is done by my daughter. You know, she drew it for me, and that is more than enough for me. I don't need her to go spend money to buy stuff and all that, and and some of this stuff, recycled stuff, which her mother has, very creatively got them to do, and I really appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I
You
don't
prefer
need any
handmade
gifts.
stuff, basically.
Yeah, because this has meaning for me. Like what did I say? It's a symbol. Yeah, it's a symbol of love. But to me, this is more meaningful to me than to spend $300-500 for something. Yeah, which I probably won't use anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
guys, clear what
yeah,
receiving gifts are when you talk about love language. And remember, it's not about what you like specifically, it's about what the other person's expression of love is, right? So we look at the
yeah.
second one, which is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. So what does words of affirmation mean?
For me, macam acknowledgement,
Mm.
encouragement. Um,
Boost.
I'm a words of affirmation guy lah. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
I,
see.
I
Oh,
like
that
I
was
like
pleasant.
I like validation,
Yeah.
acknowledgements. As much as I don't like to say it out loud,
Yeah. You don't like to say you
I
like it,
like
but you like it.
Yeah.
but I like
Yeah.
it, right? So
Oh,
Your
so
wife is listening, so good.
but I
yeah,
have
yeah,
to,
she
but I
knows,
have
she
to
knows.
But I have to say this because I feel that, especially we are in an Asian kind of a cultural context, right? Words of
Yeah.
affirmation actually comes in pretty scarce. It's like not
Yes.
many people likes to express themselves through words.
True.
Yeah.
People are very cheap
Mm,
where words are concerned. You know what? Yeah, you're right. You're actually right about this. Me, I'm similar with Ilyas. Words of affirmation really
Yeah.
lifts me up, boosts me up,
Yeah.
motivates me to do stuff, inspires me to do more. But sometimes when we work, especially at work, right? You know
huh.
what? Why I say people sometimes can be very cheap about that is they don't even say thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, wow. That really hurts, especially when you're like, working all
You're
out and
doing
you're not
so
getting
much and then
OTs,
there's not even a good job, like great
Yeah.
job,
A
effort,
pat on the back.
Pat on
Yeah.
the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation. I think,
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess you're right in one way though. I
Mm.
think because it's not in our culture
Yes.
to affirm others. Um,
Yeah.
Yes.
but also others also are waiting for us to
Of-
to to uh, to 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 give permission. I remember saying this
That's a good point.
to a friend of mine, yeah, male friend. We've been friends since school. Um, and I actually say I love you, bro. Like I love you, bro. You know.
Then he got stunted, right? I'm sure.
Uncomfortable.
I said it on WhatsApp, je, you know, just to let you know,
Even
bro.
worse. You say
Yeah.
it on WhatsApp even worse
If you
because
know
you
me,
do not
that's
know the intonation. You're like, I
no, no,
love
no,
you,
no,
bro.
no.
What's like, I love you, bro.
If you really know me, you wouldn't mind if it comes in from me, bro. Anyways, um, but surprisingly, um, he got it, and he actually replied.
Yeah.
He replied and he said, "You know what, bro? I've never told you this, but I love you too."
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I think apa tu, it's especially for male, right? Benda ni very like
Yeah.
taboo, you know.
Especially nowadays, right?
Kan?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not wearing the rainbows. Anyways, please give me back the rainbows. How many
No more
colors do you
rainbow.
want? You just
And
need one
behind that,
color, right? Kan? Why do you need the whole
Yeah.
spectrum of colors? Right. Anyways,
He's got the rainbow. Ask him. He's at the back of him.
yeah. So I think But nowadays people are quite open, but they are waiting for you to go first. Usually, lah.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. You don't know sometimes what your expression of love is, especially
Right.
early on, right? Like, is it something you're comfortable with? Maybe you've never been exposed to it before. That's an
Uh,
interesting ground as well, right? You might not already establish your expression of love yet.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
think it's
So,
But
really because, yeah, it's really because I think it's also based on your upbringing. Because sometimes your parents, how often do they actually say words of affirmation to
yeah,
you
agree.
as well? So
Uh,
you
not
brought up
only
with
a
it.
affirmation, in fact, even affection. I
yeah.
Correct.
think I think being
Action,
a
yeah.
culturally we are not so open with saying I love you. I mean,
Exactly.
hey, any one of you, whether you're listening here or not, when was the last time you went up to your dad or your mom and said I love you?
Just
Right?
It's
now.
true. It's
Uh-huh.
true. It's true.
Yeah, right.
I'm very
So
expressive.
yeah, but a lot of people,
Yeah, a lot of people are not.
Right.
they just go, ma, pa, I love you lah. But
If
what
you
I mean is
Yeah.
really
say
like,
it also, they'll
yeah,
be like, hey, what's wrong with you?
yeah,
Skip.
yeah, exactly, right. But what I mean is actually really go up and say, hey, dad, I love you, or mom, I love you, like really really expressing it versus just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I
so
think you're right. It's like not being accustomed to do it, not because they don't love you. Like my mom,
yes,
I always say this about my mother. When I am very expressive. My mom is like very reserved, very
yeah.
like I'm loud. She's like very ladylike. So I would tell her, hey mom, I love you a lot. Then she'd be like, okay, yeah. I said, so you love me or not? Yeah. I said, why cannot say one? Then she'd be like, um, yeah, I do lah. I said, why you cannot say it? Can you say it out loud? Like say it out? She'd be like, like susah, for her to find the words. And
Yeah.
over the
uh,
years, she's learned how to say it. But
yeah,
she's found it very difficult to say it out loud, like ada orang dengar like
exactly,
that. But
yeah.
I agree. Sometimes it's also our upbringing that puts us in that position, and that brings us to the third one, right? Physical touch,
Mm,
Mm,
right?
that
And
is
in our
worse.
culture, even worse, right? I remember growing up, and when I was in I think uni or what, where I'm from a small town, Teluk Intan, so it's like you don't touch each other lah at all, even friends and all that. Like no touch, don't touch me, don't touch you, kind of thing. And I remember I met this group of people, and one of the
Do not
first things they did
touch
was give me a big hug, like a bear hug. I absolutely like when the person hugged me and it was a guy. I just like my whole body became like like
Itu dah
and
jadi
it's not
culture
because
inappropriate lah.
no, it wasn't inappropriate actually, but it was just that I wasn't used to being hugged.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
hug made me feel very happy and warm, but I was like, my head is telling me I shouldn't hug someone. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
not right to hug
yeah,
someone.
yeah.
And as time went on, I realized, oh, when a person hugs you, it's not because they have some ulterior motive ke apa, it's just love,
yeah,
it's warmth, it's friendship. But
yeah,
sometimes you grow up with that notion. So that's why I said sometimes you might not know what's your expression of love.
Correct.
mm,
But
yeah,
Yeah.
like you guys said, right? I cannot just simply go and hug you. You might go like, oh, what's up with this
You
woman?
get punched.
yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
I think it's
But
worse
when
for a guy rather than a
uh,
girl.
yeah, but where this is concerned, I think the person, in terms of love, this would be the person that you want to be, you want to have a lot more physical contact, holding my
Yes.
hands, hugging me, or arms across, around my waist, kind of thing. Yeah, when that is not present, you just feel that you don't love me anymore, or you don't
Mhm,
love
mhm.
me. You might just feel that because there's lack of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, agreed. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It
so
has a physical context around love.
yeah,
Itu saja. That's what it means.
exactly. Yeah. So
So
it's
you're
really
saying that if they're used to
sorry.
so you're saying that if you're used to having this, are you here?
Um, I'm yeah. I mean, if that shows affection, if like the physical touch shows affection, then that you feel love, then it's something that you want to consciously be doing for that person.
Yeah.
So I guess
It's just
I guess
like simple thing like holding hands. You know, like how some couples will just go out, they never hold hands. Yeah. But some when you don't hold hands, it's kind of like, why are you very shy to walk with me?
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
says
So
something more, right? Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
it
yes,
does.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's something we need to be aware of as well. Again, it's like what Ilya said earlier, like, it's not about me, but it's about you. What do you need that I can actually give out, right? If that's the way your love language is, then I would reciprocate that way, right? So if the person is someone very physical, her love language is physical, then just to hold a hand, it would be more than enough. Yeah, but like for some of us, it's like, oh my god, no lah, don't hold me lah, don't touch me. Yeah, so something to be conscious of lah.
Elias, you wanted to say something?
I can't remember if it went away.
The train of thought has left the building
Left the
already.
building.
But
You know,
guys,
you,
Left
it
the
doesn't
building.
it doesn't have to be like a full-on hug or holding hands even. Sometimes it's just like a
Yeah.
touch, right? Sometimes it's a pat
Yes.
on the back. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like cuddling under the blanket couple, but it's just
No.
some form of touch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so this is what I wanted to say. I think where this conversation is going, I think we need to put some context around it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
When we talk about love language right now, we talk about partners,
Partners,
people who are
correct.
in our space, partners, or parents. People. These are people who we have absolute rapport, very close. If kalau you duduk rumah kampung, kalau you duduk rumah kampung dulu, you tak masuk ke depan, you masuk terus ikut kitchen.
Yes.
It's your family, right? So
Family members.
yeah, so with family, I think it's a little bit family
Different.
and loved ones. It's a little bit easier when it comes to hugs or whatever,
Correct.
It's expected lah. It's
Yeah, yeah.
expected.
So
Yeah.
it's not like something like you jumpa kawan you kat luar, kawan you tahu kawan you punya love language macam ni, you nak pergi. You don't do that lah. You
No,
tengok.
it-
There's always a
yeah.
context. I think there's always context. A friend
Yeah.
of mine said this brilliantly. Dia kata context saves lives. So there's always a context lah to this, So
Yeah.
if it's not an appropriate place to hug, don't lah. There are places where you don't want to hug another person, like in another person, another gender. Yeah, you don't want to do that in a kampung, you get what I'm saying? You're gonna
Yeah.
get stares, right? So things like that,
I think it's important.
yeah,
Context
context
is
is important.
everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you don't talk about context, right, you're very right, right? Someone will just go and go like, oh, that's my love language, or that's the person's love language, but the environment might not be suitable to do that, right? And that's
Yeah.
why we have people from different cultures going to different places and creating a lot of havoc. They're like,
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with it.
Have you seen Bangladeshis or Pakistani men walk together crossing the road? What do they
Full
do?
hands.
Yeah.
Right. So I was
Yes.
like, when I first saw it, it's like, what's going on? but in, but in their culture, it's alright.
It's normal, yeah.
normal.
Or even the kissing on the cheeks, right?
Yeah.
The blowing air kisses and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. Even this hugging thing, when I went to Australia, I remember I went to my uncle's house for dinner. And every time you invite someone to your house, everyone berbaris, like waiting on both sides as they invite people into the house. And everyone that came in hugs you. I'm like, I don't even know you. Why are you touching me?
Yeah. So context saves lives, people. So I think
Yeah.
culturally, if you're in a different state, I mean, there's a Malay word for this. Pergi kandang kambing mengembik kan. Pergi kandang rimau mengaum kan. So you gotta see what's appropriate.
Rimau mana ada
That
kandang.
sounds like
I was like, rimau ada kandang ya. Tak ada siap.
Okay, guys, we are
Yeah.
running out of time. So let's go to the fourth one, quality of time.
Quality of
Quality
time.
of time.
Basically, the context is uninterrupted.
Scheduled lah, like you
No lah,
special
if
time
you-
for this person. Is it?
No, something like
Spending quality time together.
Meaning you have uninterrupted time together. Meaning it's not me watching TV and then you trying to
I'm
get a
with you, what?
conversation. I'm with you, what? Right. So no,
Yeah.
it's actually uninterrupted. The context is uninterrupted context. So it
Okay.
doesn't need to be long. It could be 20
Yeah.
minutes. It's more than
Okay.
enough for some people. Um, so yeah. So, sometimes kita selalu fikir tau, oh dia nak masa banyak, nak masa banyak. But if you really think about it, right? We don't. I would say I don't really give like time actually. Not even half an hour, like full attention without interruption, without the phone or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, the
So
phone, definitely.
yeah. So
Very rare for people to actually give time with each other uninterrupted, especially when you already have like a family and stuff.
yeah, you realize that it's not how long you are being with them, it's how long you are spending uninterrupted time with them.
That's a good point.
It's not. You don't need to
Uninterrupted time.
be. Yeah, you don't need to be an hour with your kids. 20 minutes uninterrupted.
Yeah,
You know.
I
I
think
don't know,
that
Jeff. Yeah.
that really is important. That
Yeah.
really is important. It's just like my daughter always reminds me, when I visit her, and we're playing or something, that she'll say, "Daddy, can you just put your phone away? Can you not touch the phone?"
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
Yeah, she's demanding that quality time with me, because
Yes.
yeah, we have very short time together, and when we spend it, and she actually reminds me of that.
Yeah.
So my last weekend, I met up with them, and you know what, I was very conscious that, I'm not gonna bring my phone. I'm just gonna chuck it aside, and then we go and swim. And she had a
Yeah.
good time, and when I was leaving, she said, "Dad, I had a blast."
Mm.
To me, that meant so much to her. So yeah,
Yeah.
the quality time is not so much like spending the whole day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
even that half hour, but really
That's right.
uninterrupted time. Seriously, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that, selalu because macam my wife would cakap, I just want some time with it for you. I will be looking at her and say, the whole day I'm here with you. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like
You
I'm
know?
here
sometimes we
the whole
forget
day.
that.
Yeah, my
I'm
husband
here the
says
whole
that as
day,
well.
right? So it's like,
Yeah,
but you know what? When I think about it, really, that uninterrupted time is very little actually, very little.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point, right? Even this work from home, we are with our spouses, partners, siblings, family every day, 24
Yeah,
hours. But how much of that time is actually quality? I think kids have it right. My 4-year-old, I think Xiao San has seen quite a few times. She'll just come and she will say, "Mommy, listen to me." She put my whole face.
yes, yes. My
Listen to
yeah,
son
me,
does that.
yeah. My
Mom,
wife
I'm
just said
talking to
something.
you.
Yeah, my wife just said something. Yeah, I am time. He's like, okay, I got you. Sorry.
So you know
Yeah,
what's her love language very clearly.
Yeah, because this is the thing, you see,
Yeah.
when you are not conscious, when you're not
Yes.
aware. See, I thought I've given my symbol of love, which is service. I
Yes.
I
Yes.
cuci, I always cuci the dish, and I cuci baju, whatever. It's something I enjoy doing, and I thought I've already given her what she needs. It's always like that,
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah, true.
always forgot that it's her love language. Yeah.
Okay, and,
Yeah.
and we've come to the last one,
Yeah.
Hmm.
the last love language, which is, I think, one of your favorites, right?
Yeah.
Service, acts
Acts
of
of service.
service.
Yeah. It's pretty much the easiest. Can be chores, can be anything, can be just about anything. Making Maggie, a cup of
Yeah.
Milo, but be careful. You can end up like me. I always think that, hey, I'm doing something for you. And
Yeah.
for men, right? Let me say this, in particular for men. Um, Bringing back the bacon is not considered act of service. Yeah.
Wajib, wajib.
Ah,
Duty, that is
Yeah.
duty.
Very important. Yes.
that is duty, because
Yeah.
Yes.
sometimes I also think that way. Sometimes
Yeah.
I will get sucked into that thinking. Yeah, I'm bringing in the dough and stuff like that. See, my wife is laughing. I can hear her laughing. but it's true. I get caught up with that. I get caught
Yeah.
up with
Yeah.
that.
No,
Hey,
because
give
you
me a
have to
break
think
lah.
about it. I mean, we have to think about it this way. I mean, yes, you are bringing back the bacon, but you know, your wife is at home also doing all that she needs to do as a dutiful wife and a dutiful mother
True.
to the family, you know?
Very
Yeah.
true. That can
Yeah.
only happen when I'm thinking. So most of the time, most of the time, I'm not, my wife selalu complain, you ni kan bila you buat training je you fikir, bila you tak buat training you tak fikir. I cakap because I'm paid to think. I said, so when I'm not paid to think, I just like switch off.
Then it goes back to time, right? Quality of time, which is what she
Quality of
wants.
time, yeah. So
I
guys,
think you are
yeah,
right.
so
You're
that's
right.
why I just want to put it out there. You know, I'm guilty of this a lot of times. You
Yes.
know, especially when I'm tired and frustrated. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? You know, I did all these things, blah blah, blah, and
Yes.
it's still money
Yes.
maker. You know, so just to make it clear, also announcing this publicly to my wife. I get you. Okay.
You know what,
I
Ilyas?
think
You know what,
Yeah.
Ilyas? Every time
Yeah.
when I see you go out of this frame, right? I'm
Huh?
expecting some food to come back in with it. You know?
Yeah, where's the food? Where's the food gone? We finished it
No,
already.
there's still one here. I'm trying to time my apa tu my turn to speak so that you know when it's not my turn I just makan lah.
You know, I have to tell you this. There is this girl. I think she's in university on Instagram. Her name is Majimbo, and she's a famous comedian for eating. What she does, she takes potato chips, puts it in the mouth, and she laughs. She says something, takes potato chips. You should look her up. Whenever you
Majimbo
did
eh.
that, Majimbo, yeah, it reminded me of her, and she's become so famous because of that. She's like a comedian.
Okay.
Well, now you can make yourself famous.
Yeah.
But
If
guys,
you're
talking about this, right? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, we've kind of overshoot the time as usual, like
Sure, sure,
15,
sure.
more than 15 minutes already. But
right.
one thing I want to bring up is, right, I think Jeffrey and I spoke about this, right? You have these five love languages, right? But is it that we all fit within one? Like, oh, acts of service, or it's this. Can it be that sometimes I'm this, sometimes I'm that? And it makes it confusing as well, right?
Okay, I can say that a little bit on that. I think like just like anything else,
Mm-hmm.
macam your communication style ke apa ke, it or your learning channel, it changes through time, through role,
Time.
through phases of life.
Correct. That's a
Same
good
goes
point.
to love language, it's the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. Macam my wife dulu dia kata words bukan, but now I realize that words is, so
Yeah,
sometimes you do have one preference, sometimes you do have two preferences.
that was something that we I was discussing with Cheryl when we came up with some of the questions. Like, usually things start to change, especially once you are married. Because when you're dating, in the stage of dating, right, they used to, my boyfriend's so sweet, they do this, they do that, do so many things, but once I signed the marriage certification, it's like suddenly it changed, everything vanished, no more love, no more this, no more gifts, no nothing, and
Yeah.
expect me to go and do everything, so yeah,
So
what
very
happened?
interesting. Very interesting that you brought this up because that is the path of service. You keep on servicing, and then you get until you get what you want. Then you let
Yeah,
loose, and you're not in control of that anymore.
yeah,
See, while
okay,
while you're in the chase, you're very
yes,
conscious to make that happen just so that
yes,
the other party is impressed, right?
yes,
Once
yes,
you've got it, the chase is
yes,
over, then
uh-huh.
you kind of tend to hold back and then go back to your personal self, which could be any of the other
So
different
basically,
languages.
once you sign the deal, you basically seal the deal lah. Seal the deal means don't need to do anything anymore lah.
Yeah, it's just like when you climb a mountain, you climb a mountain. Ooh, once you reach the top, okay, done. Nothing already.
Don't need to come back down from the mountain, right? Just stay up there in the mountain, is it?
Yeah. So same thing with whatever we have discussed today, right? Everything else, right?
Yeah.
It is important and it is useful, but you know what? Remembering all these things, the moment we shut down, everybody's gonna forget about everything. right? And you know what? That's why it takes a little bit of mastery to
Awareness.
actually master everything. Be aware, being mindful to actually practice this, especially right now when everybody is working from home. Can you
Mhm.
imagine how this is gonna just like wow, it's flying in the air every day, and you have to
Yes.
deal with it every day, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you have mastered it, then it becomes so much easier to know which one to switch to, which one is needed, which one then you can bring out. Yeah, it's just like I think we had this discussion earlier. We learn all these tools. We are
Yeah.
kind of like,
Use
wow,
it.
it's so, yeah, we know what to do. You know what, I know how to ace this, da. But when you get into it, when in the thick of everything, suddenly you forget because
Yeah.
emotions override. Yeah,
Right.
emotions override and everything else. So we just have to be mindful lah. That's the key
I think
to everything.
we can have a
That's an
maybe
excellent takeaway.
maybe we can have a
Sorry.
suggestion to basically just stick post-it notes near the everywhere you are just to remind you. It's like, hey,
Yeah, I
the
think yeah.
It sounds like the toilet sign where people say flush after use. But does everybody flush after use?
we need to stick more
Yeah.
on the signs.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
awareness is the key in any application of
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Without awareness, you can learn wisdom. We can learn a lot of things, lah. But without awareness, there's no chance. There's
Yeah.
no chance. So you gotta be aware until it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know.
it's like collecting hundreds and hundreds of training certificates, right? Oh, I went for this training, I went for that training, I went for this training, I went for that training. Like, do you know how many trainings I've been for? I've covered like 200 hours in training, and you're so proud of yourself, but how much can you actually apply, right? And if you can't apply it and it doesn't become part of your lifestyle, like what Jeffrey says, then it's pointless all the hundreds of hours of trainings that you've actually gone through. And
Yeah.
it's not going to help you at all. So I think one of the key takeaways for me personally would actually be that mindfulness is key in the expression of love, and it takes effort. It's not something that is just like by the way kind of thing. It's something you have to
Mm.
really like you say, the chase, right? When you're dating someone, it's because you're mindful that, hey, I want this person in my life, I cannot screw it up, I need to do this. And
Yes.
often when we get into relationships, we forget that. They're like, she's already there. uh,
Yeah.
Nana says, signed, sealed, and delivered Miss Yi. I don't know what that means.
And once you sold, you sold. Hey,
Yi has
GD.
a fan. GD always says she laughs like the little Buddha on little Buddha on screen. But yeah, guys, it's been such an interesting conversation. I'm so sorry we took so much of your time. But I
That's all
think
right.
it was an
Yeah.
excellent comeback show to talk about love, especially in times like this. And I will definitely
Yeah.
I've taken note in my head these tips to use it, not on my husband, but to use it, you know.
Music on
But
your husband.
but I think it doesn't apply just to your spouse, I think it applies to anyone you love. If you take the
Yeah.
time to know them and their expression of love, I mean, things will be better, right? Like we can make the communication even better. It's just that time is limited, like you guys said, right? How many people are we willing to do that for mindfully, to
Mm.
care enough to
Yeah.
communicate with them, understanding those things? So yeah.
Yeah.
Any last words, guys, as we end the session today? Any advice to people on how can they start practicing this? What is something simple that they can do to find out, I mean, what's
Oh,
their partner or people that they
well,
love
Their
language?
partner's love language?
well, for me, I would say be observant of your partners, and
Hey, go
that
ahead,
was the
go.
that
My
was the
turn.
cue, right? That was the cue, right? So I gotta wait for you to finish, and I continue
I took
talking
a
first.
small one. I just took a small one, just enough for you to finish.
I
Well,
told you about Jimbo.
I think most importantly is we have to be really observant. Even for myself, I also uh, remind myself to be observant, to be aware. Observant when I say, that little twitch, that little eye roll, that little smirk, because people cannot not communicate, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So every moment in the, whether it's silence or whatever it is something to take note of.
Yeah.
So be observant, be aware, yeah, and be mindful of whatever that comes out from you. Then that would help. Yeah. You done yet, Elias?
Yes. So I time I
Digested.
time you I time your last words in like
Excellent, bro.
yeah, dia macam sikit of the pair. Okay, this one enough lah kot kan.
Yeah. Power ah.
Okay. For me, I think when it comes to the love language, you can find the test all over the internet. You can take the
Yeah.
test, and you can be observant as well. It's actually very obvious. You can really see it actually if you put some time into it. But I think one of the best things to remember is always remember this lah. When you elevate your lens, you will elevate your language. You know, and it's easier to be mindful of how you see people than being
Yeah.
mindful of the words that's coming out.
True.
Um, I had an interesting conversation this morning with a very eloquent communicator lah, and
Yeah.
and I realized that for me to be aware of the words right is very difficult, and then I realized why I'm communicating that way is because the way I am seeing that person, my lens. So I said, okay, you know what? What I need to shift is my lens, so that my language will shift. You know, if you look for the good things in people, you will see it, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So if
Yeah.
you if your lens is already that way, your language will just automatically be that way.
Very, very good point. I think
Mm.
you kind of summed up relationships, a lot of relationships before marriage and after. It's because you have these rose-colored glasses, so everything you see is like nice. And then when you
Frustrated.
when you get married, you're like everything you see is false sometimes. And that's why people say. I think that's a very good point. It's our perspective, right? Like
Yeah.
if we
Yes.
change our perspective, our indirectly whatever comes out,
Yeah.
body language or language, everything will kind of flow within that direction. So again goes back to being mindful of how we see people as well.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you guys, I'm so glad Nina suggested both of you guys.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you guys, your chemistry is awesome on screen as well. Y'all pakai baju also gang
Yeah,
gang and
makan
pakai
baju
baju.
also same things, and we didn't get the same demo like you guys did.
We
It's
have
like,
the same thinking. I grew up with this guy. You know, hey,
Yeah.
okay.
hey. Okay, so I grew up with this guy. Should give you enough information to guess how old is he.
That means you guys must be the same age, isn't it?
Same age? Wow.
But you
Wow,
grew up
that's a
grew
I'm
up
compliment.
together,
I am
isn't
more
it?
like his son than anything else.
Wow. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, now I'm
Now
confused,
she's now she's curious, and you know what,
Now
Elias?
you want to have another talk, how to stay young. You can have that talk with Steph.
Okay, anyway, guys, we're going to take this offline. Thank you so much to
All right.
everyone
Thank
who
you
tuned
so
in
much.
after we've been
Yes.
away for so long. And
Yes.
a great big thank you to both of you for taking the
Thank you
time
so
to
much.
come on
Okay.
such short notice. You
Thank
know,
you
even though
so
I had
much.
your
Thank
number,
you.
the communication only came much later to you guys. So please stay back after this.
Yes.
And
All
to the
right.
audience, thank
Sure.
you. Good night. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Next week.
Xiao San, you want to tell them about our next show and what it's about?
Next week we're gonna have a hypnotherapy session. Oh no, not session, but basically we will talk about hypnotherapy. Basically, by per se, with looking into mental health as well about it. So it's going to be very very interesting, really. So for those of you who are interested to know how to some of the ways of how to curb your mental health issues, especially when you're staying trapped at home, if there's any suggestion on how to find alternative ways besides just psychiatrist or psychology, so we can actually look into this hypnotherapy as one of the options. But please do stay tuned, to know more about it, about what is hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So next week, 8 p.m., right? 8 p.m. next week with Miss
Yes,
Angeline, right? Miss Angeline.
correct. Yes, yeah.
Right.
So you
Right.
guys,
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
bye.